show you if I can beat Florence in chess. So let's get right into it. I'm playing this with white pieces. First I chose to move my pawn to d4. It moved its pawn to d5. Now I can develop my knight to f3 controlling the square e5. It also developed its knight to f6. Now I can move my knight to e5. It moved its pawn to c5. So I can capture it with my pawn. It moved its knight to d7. Again capture it with my knight. It recaptured my knight with its bishop. Now I can develop my other knight to b3. It moved its rook to c8, attacking this pawn. So for that I should move my pawn to b4, protecting it. It moved its pawn to a5. So I think that I should capture it. It recaptured my pawn on a5 with its queen. But now I can move my bishop to d2. It moved its pawn to d4, attacking my knight. But see, now in this position, I can move my knight to d5. It captured my pawn on c5 with its queen. So now I can capture its knight on f6 with my knight. It recaptured my knight with its pawn. Now I can move my pawn to e3. It captured my pawn with its pawn, so I should recapture it with my bishop and attack the queen. It captured my pawn on c2 with its queen, so I should recapture it. It recaptured my queen with its rook. Now I can move my bishop to d3, attacking this rook. It moved its bishop to c3, attacking my bishop. So I should move my bishop to e4. It moved its bishop to c5. So I should capture it with my bishop. It recaptured my bishop with its rook. Now I can castle to the king's side. It moved its bishop to c6, so I can capture it with mine. It recaptured my bishop with its rook. Now I can give a check with rook to e1. It protected the check and also blocked it with rook to e6. So I should capture it with my rook. It recaptured my rook with its pawn. Now I should move my rook to c1. Moved its king to e7. Now I can move my rook to c7, giving a check and attacking this pawn. It moved its king to d6. So now I can capture that pawn with my rook. It moved its rook to a8. So now I should move my rook to b2. It moved its rook to a3. Now I should move my pawn to g3. It moved its rook to a1, a3. It moved its pawn to h6 instead of capturing my pawn. So I can move my rook to a2, protecting it. It moved its rook to a8. Now I can advance this pawn to a4. It moved its rook to a5, blocking the way for my pawn to advance. So now I should move my king to g2. It moved its rook to c5. So I should move my pawn to a5, a6, a7. And now it moved its rook to c8. But now I can promote my pawn to a queen. It captured my queen with its rook, so I should recapture it. It moved its king to c6. So I should move my rook to g8. Now it moved its pawn to g5. So I should move my rook to g6, threatening these three pawns. It moved its king to d5. Now I can capture that pawn on f6 with my rook. And now I should move my rook to h6, threatening this pawn. It moved its king to c4. So I should capture that pawn with my rook. And also that pawn on g5 with my rook. It moved its king to d4. Now I can advance this pawn to h4, h5, h6, h7. So I should recapture this pawn. And now finally I can promote this pawn to a queen. Now I can move my newly promoted queen to c8. It moved its queen to b2. I can move my rook to b5. And now my to a6 to do checkmate. So let's review the game. Now it is analyzing the game.
Nice job outplaying your opponent in the end.
And just to let you listen to the coach what it is saying, because it will give a better explanation.
A classic way to start the game. This protects the center pawn and controls the center. You captured that free pawn. Now your pawn is vulnerable. Your best move was to defend a pawn that was under attack. Nice find. You found the only move in this position. You are forcing your opponent to double pawns. You captured a free pawn. You are threatening to win a pawn through an eventual fork. Your pawn made it to the promotion square. You can win a pawn with a fork. Very nice. You won a pawn for free. That pawn was yours for the taking. You've wrapped up the game with a textbook ladder mate.
So I hope that you liked the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Please comment how you thought that the video was. Please also comment the idea for my next video. And have a nice day.